Alright, welcome back to another video on how I do my looping stuff. So the last video we had talked about the basics of using just loops, pre-made loops, and arranging them in a certain manner and playing them and performing them live as well, and how you would arrange them in looping and make your project. What I didn't show you is how to make the project or save it, so let me show you real quick. If you hit that top right folder, you can do new project and then you can click save. So what I'm going to do is show you here how you can start adding in some different things to your project. So the first thing I'll do is we'll talk about something called AUV3 versus inter-app audio. So there are, on the iPad, there are a couple different ways that you can look at instruments, plugins, and software. One is a inter-app audio, which is the old way of doing it that Apple had done. And then there's the newer way, which is called AUV3, audio units. And in my opinion, the audio units is definitely the way to go. But there's some software that are not compatible to AUV3. So whenever you buy an instrument plugin or whatever on Apple, make sure you check to see if it is AUV3 capable. Now, typically what you would use is you would use a program like AUM, like this one here. This software here is probably the most popular to use as an AUV3 host. So it hosts all of the AUV3, but it can also bring in inter-app audio as well. But for my purposes, I use Loopy Pro because I use it for looping. And it doubles as a DAW. It doubles as, or triples, I guess you could say, triples as a AUV3 host as well, as a looper. So it's just the best all-around software I have, bar none. Hands down, the best software on iPad, in my opinion. So in this case here, let's talk about how we do this. So if I have an app, let's use Beatmaker 3 as an example. So Beatmaker 3, notice how I'm bringing this up first, okay? I'm bringing it up, and let me just pick, I don't know, anything good in here? Jazz bass, that sounds good. Let's do a jazz bass, load it. Sounds good. All right. So this is an app I have that makes music, obviously. It's a sampler type of deal. And so I have that up and running. If I go over to Loopy, this Beatmaker 3 is not AUV3 compatible. It is an inter-app audio. So on the bottom right of Loopy, you'll see a plus symbol. If you hit that, you can say add inter-app audio. Now they didn't have this at the launch of Loopy Pro, but he added it because everybody was asking for it. Because there's a lot of apps that are really good, like Beatmaker 3, that are not AUV3 compatible. So I mean, it would suck that you couldn't use them because they weren't, AUV compatible. So it's pretty cool that he added that support. But be aware. Let me bring this up. Let me go find it here. There it is. Beatmaker 3. What you'll notice is that if I were to tap this now, you notice it has its own lane now. So look at the second lane, and you'll see a little icon, and that's the Beatmaker icon right there. If I were to tap that, it brings up Beatmaker 3, but you don't see any Loopy Pro. That's because it's a separate app. See? It's a whole separate app up top to the Loopy Pro. Now, in this particular case, if I wanted to use that jazz bass, I can now use it here in Loopy Pro. So let me add a bass. Let me add like a little drum in. I'll just add this drum here. Sounds good. I'm just going to grab just a random drum because I don't want to create a drum on the fly. So I'm just going to add this one here to my project just to give it some time and looping and all that kind of good stuff. I'm going to divide this to 4 bars. And this is the one I used in my last example that I had talked about. All right, so I have this beat going here. Now, by default, as I mentioned in the last one, it defaults by looking at here for the record. If you swipe up and look at the record, you can see that it will start recording based on the master time or the master loop. In this case, it's 4 bars. So when if I tapped it now, it would wait. So see how I'm tapping it now? It's not going to start recording until the actual master, which when I first imported it was 8 bars. So it's waiting a full 8 bars before it comes in. Okay, now to fix something like that, I can go down here to the record section and I can say custom, and let's say I want it to come in after, I don't know, let's do 4 bars, okay, instead of 8 bars. So now you see it coming around, I tap it, Now it's going to be waiting and waiting until 4 bars is up, and then it's going to start recording now. Now whatever comes through, which is my vocals, is being recorded for the 4 bars. Now, actually, 8 bars because it's keeping time with the master. So let me fix that as well. But let me wait for it to finish looping, and now whatever comes through, which is my vocals, okay? So now I screwed that up because it's going with the actual time that I originally set, which was 8 bars. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to set the length to just 4 bars. And I'm going to say, after 4 bars, stop recording. Okay? So I'll wait for it to come around, hit it. It's now going to wait for 4 bars, giving me time to get my hands back to a key or the loop or whatever. Now I'm just talking. I'm still talking, and you can see it's recording, which I'm going to show you. This is a problem in a minute. Now I'm just talking. So I'm still talking, and you can see it's recording, which I'm going to. So the reason why it's doing that is, if you look here, the first lane is my microphone. Underneath the first lane, you'll see a 1 plus 2, right? So you see the 1, the plus, and then the 1 plus 2, and then you see a variety of colors down below. This is telling that channel, it's saying you can record the output of the microphone to any of these colored channels. Well, I don't want to actually record my vocals right now to any of these channels, so I'm going to hit none. Now it's not going to record to any of them. So if I go ahead, hit my bar, and again, you can set this to start immediately recording if you wanted to as well. So now it's recording. Test, 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 test. You notice how it's not recording anything. There's nothing there. It's going to come around and it's blank. Nothing there. Okay? So that's because I didn't have anything recording to it. Now, the second lane, which is our beat maker, our inter-app audio, it does have the ability to go to any color. But in this case, I'm going to tell it to only record to the yellow channel. Okay, I'm going to say this is only a bass channel, which is my, middle yellow channel. So I'm just going to do, I don't know, what do we have here? Let me just get a pentatonic minor scale because that's easiest to sound nice. Oh, there already is. Okay, cool. So let me go back here. So I'm just going to, let's go up here. I'm just gonna make up a dumb melody. It don't really matter, right? So you notice how I have to keep going back to my Loopy Pro because the inter-app audio is not inside. It's not hosted inside of Loopy. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this. Oops, I'm sorry. I forgot to go back here and hit play. So I'm going to go ahead and set the record. Now I'm going to jump over to my app because I have 4 bars to do it in. Now, so it's just nonsense, right? So when I come back, it's playing the bass that I laid down, and I can turn it up, turn it down, whatever channel, because it's that yellow channel, right? So it's playing everything I just said. So it works as intended. This is how you would create music on the fly with the instruments you have. The problem is you have to keep swiping the bottom and going over here to this, and then you can't see behind it to see where the loop is at, that kind of thing. It's kind of, it'd be nice to have it like as a small window maybe inside of here. That'd probably be the best way, right? And the other thing is I can't have multiple ones of these open. So if I didn't want to take the time to come here and switch to a different bank or make a new bank and do it this way, I wanted to have another, instrument inter-app audio over here, another channel that had that. I can't do that with inter-app audio. Now, let's take a look at the other one, which is AUV3. So notice how I'm not bringing up a tool or an app called Audio Layer. Okay, I'm going to hit Audio Unit, and I'm going to hit Audio Layer. Notice how I didn't bring it up. See, you don't see it there. The app is not there as a separate app. If I hit it, there it is. It's inside of this window, and I can resize it however I feel, which is super cool. Now, in this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and pick, I don't know, let's pick, I got so many different instruments. And I'm going to go over another one with this later, but for now, let's just, we'll just pick Frontier, sounds good. Now, I can choose to hit the keyboard and play it here, or I can go ahead and click this and say MIDI sources. Now what I have is I actually have a Launchpad Pro, MK3 Pro pad, physical hardware MIDI controller over here on my desk. And you can see it right there as the third option. So I'm going to hit that and hit back. Notice how I don't have the keyboard up, but you can hear it, right? That's because I'm doing it on my actual Launchpad Pro. Okay, so now I'm operating whatever the instrument is here. Okay, on that, but also notice how I can see it here, right? So, and I don't even know what key we're in here. What key are we in? I don't even know what key. This is going to be off key, but I'm just going to show you how it is. So I'm going to tap it here because I can see it now behind me. And I actually didn't set this up properly. So let me go ahead and tell it I want it to be only 4 bars. There we go. Let's try that again. So we're kicking. I have this, I can move it around so I can see it, and I can tap it and I can see. Did it again, didn't I? So I keep forgetting to do this. So next time I gotta remember to set a 4-bar loop or something as my first loop. Whatever you set for your first loop, it kind of determines the rest of the project, and I keep forgetting that. So in this case here, let me do, let me swap back up. I am gonna go down to the record one and change that to be custom, and we're going to wait for 4 bars. And the same thing for playback is I'm going to set the playback to be custom 4 bars. So it'll keep everything in the same time that everything else is. All right, so tap that. All right, here we go. So yeah, whatever. It's nothing groundbreaking here, but so we can see it, we can hear it's recorded it properly. And that's how you would create it live. But here's what's cool about this is I have that one, but let's say that I also wanted to put a string in there. I can do another audio unit and again choose audio layer. I can't do that with Beatmaker 3. But I can do it with audio layer, and I can make a completely different one. And let's go ahead and set this one to be, let's do a pad of some sort. So let's go down here, and we'll choose pads. And I will do beauty string, sounds good. Let's do that one. And again, I have to set the MIDI source to Launchpad. Back there. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. So this I did not know until just now. This is actually combining the first one with the keys. That is very interesting. So that is kind of cool, actually. So you can, if you recall, let me turn off this. That's the piano. Add this. Now it's got the string. That is so cool. I didn't realize that until just now. That is so cool. So I guess what we would have to do if we just wanted the string is before we added it in, we would turn off this one and just get the strings. Wow, that is super cool, man. I'm learning some new stuff every time. All right, so let's kick and play. And it's all, I did it again, didn't I? Stupid Ray. And I think you can actually copy this pad over to the next one, but I'm not going to be worried about that right now because I can't remember how to do that. All right, let me go ahead and set 4 bar real quick here. And again, playback settings. Well, at least you're getting a full deal of what not to do, right? 4 bar there, and recording as well. Man, that's super cool. I did not know about that layering of those instruments. That is just a happy mistake there. All right, so I'm bringing up my other one that I can see here, right? Now I'm going to play the other one. So you'll notice that even though I have this turned off, it doesn't turn off the effect on the loop because it's already done and one and done. It's already done with that, right? But that is really cool. But anyways, you get the idea. So you can have as many of these audio layer units as you want. And now I'm just thinking of some cool possibilities of layering like 5 different instruments together as one. That is super wild. Crazy. Blows my mind. And again, you can also choose which color you only want these to record to so that you don't accidentally record to another different type, a different color that you didn't want. So you notice here that none of these are labeled, only the first one because that's a loop that I brought in. I showed you before that you can come down to the pencil and then you can go down to A and then add in, whoops, and then add in this here, right? So I can say the string for that one, drag that up, and drop it in right here, just like that. So don't forget you can do that because it doesn't actually label anything for you here. But anyways, so that is the AUV3 portion of it there. That's the difference between that and inter-app audio. But that's how you would record your music live doing it. Now, of course, you can also use a drum program as well to do the beats. So like Beatmaker is a good example of that, where you can bring in a kit, right? So I can bring in this, you know, and do whatever on that and bring that in as well under loopy and record that live because again it's through that channel, but you can only have that one open, right? That only that one inter-app audio. Now it doesn't mean that that's stuck to the yellow channel the whole time because you can change that here and add in whatever colors you want. I just did that for demonstration purposes, but you can have it choose to use the Beatmaker one for instrument sounds on the yellow, the green, the blue, and the pink, okay? But for me, I just restricted it to that. Just keep that in mind, okay? Now, you can also add some different effects to each one as well. So, for example, on my vocals, here, I'm going to go ahead and expand this open again. Underneath the second channel, I'm sorry, the third channel that you see there where it has the 1, that is my mic that I have right now, and it's on channel 1 on my PreSonus 24C. If I want to give myself some reverb, I can click this and pick an AUV3 plugin. So there's all kinds of different plugins. You got compressors, you got reverb, you got all kinds of different things. So I can choose, you know, reverb. That's a lot. So I can go ahead, dial that back down a bit there. Wet dry mix. I can choose large hall. Oh, that's big and ominous sounding. And I can put mixers in there and layer them all together. I can also go ahead and choose a noise gate because without it, it's just dead air that people hear. So I can go ahead and underneath that, I can layer another one. I can put a noise gate in. See? And that's really cutting it off quick. So let me bring the threshold down a little bit. Bring the release up a tad. There we go. So now I stop. And no more dead air. So that's really cool how you can add all that stuff in there and put noise gates on all your stuff. And you can keep it as small room or whatever you're singing to, you can have that and you can adjust it to what you want. And this is only one of the actual apps that you can do this with. So I'll show you an example of another one here. So there's another one that I like, which is this Voice Rack Studio right here. This one's kind of cool. And again, it's window within a window, so it's got some pretty cool stuff. Here's some reverb, super bright, pitch assist, pitch assist room, head tune, hard tune. I don't know what all that is. Stereo wide. Let's see what this one is here. Oh, wow. Double, so it's double and me, double. Detune, high double. Oh, that's some weird stuff right there. Deep double wide. So this is almost like, oh, hear that high voice in there as well. Hey, we got a little megaphone. There's a megaphone there as well. So yeah, all kinds of cool things that you can do here with the actual effects in this, making it a full-blown studio essentially, and you can do your recording and stuff, and make it pretty much like a DAW, as it were. Bring some of this reverb down here. You can make it kind of like a DAW, as it were. for recording and stuff, because you can come up here to record, and you record audio, you can record sequences, very similar to how like the Akai Force does it, things like that. But this is how you record instruments, and this is the difference between AUV3 and Interapt Audio. And that'll be it for today's lessons. And the next one, we'll talk a little bit more about some of the instruments I use and some of the other apps that I use for my music creation. Until next time, peace out, players.